Hearing is still on. The Karnataka government is precisely saying there has to be uniformity. That precisely you're also mentioning. The petitioner's argument is who defined that uniformity specifically with regard to the headscarf. And the politics that has now come into it beyond the court, this has just snowballed into another issue. What started with perhaps college students and a tussle with the management is now fully communally polarized and of course taking the political overtones as well, Nabila, isn't it?
Right, Pooja, we're looking at hectic politics that's playing out, and it's not just playing out in Karnataka. We're also seeing this matter escalate in several other states as well. In Karnataka, to be specific here, you have Minister Ishwarappa, who's made a very shocking statement there, Pooja. He says the saffron flag over time will take over the tricolour. That's on the lines of what he said, which of course the Congress has now used as ammunition, saying that this really exposes the mindset of the BJP. This issue has really taken an entirely political turn, with now the students now being backed by the SDPI and the PFI, and that's what's all the more shocking, that this has now been backed by political groups, while on the other hand you have the alleged ABVP's involvement in pushing for students to come with saffron scarves to oppose the girls with hijab. Apart from ABVP, there's a lot of talk about other right-wing organizations and groups who are backing these the counter protests against the girls with hijab. So this has now become a real political slugfest, with Karnataka just barely a year into going to polls. We're looking at Karnataka getting into polls in 2023. That's next year, and it seems like the stage is perfectly set for political parties to really reap the benefits of this controversy.
Absolutely.
And we're looking at these students here, Pooja, at the age of 16. This is what's happening. We're seeing this polarization in the level of the students. In 2 years, or at least by the year that Karnataka and the centre goes to vote, they'll be eligible to vote. They'll be a major at 18.
What precisely, Nabila, you're saying here is I think, a very significant assessment that is getting missed out. The politics that's coming in, elections are all set in the next 1 year. A stage is being set for different parties. And remember, as Nabila is saying, these are 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. And in the next 2 years, they're going to be now voters, which eventually means they're already watching how politics is playing out. But the worst part is these are classmates. Many of them are classmates now who perhaps wouldn't have cared earlier about the religious ideologies. All of it now is playing out in the open. And Nabila, right now, as we are tracking the court updates as well, I'll quickly go across to Mustafa and Nolan, and then I'll return to you. So Mustafa, as we are tracking all the latest from the court, you've been there since the past few days. What is the petitioner argument with regard to, because yesterday was a reference to religion, essential practices, today it is about uniform. So there are two different references that are coming in, even from the petitioner side.
Well, yes, today what it's being mentioned is that there has been a code which has been set up by the government, Karnataka government, which says that hijab is not allowed, and that's what the Advocate General is mentioning while he is arguing in front of the court. And the Chief Justice has clearly gone on to say that it's concerning because colleges and schools had just opened up after the pandemic and now they are again shut. This is a cause of concern. So the court is also resonating the concern which the parents, which as citizens people are having, is that whatever the issue may be, whatever the decision may be, shutting down schools and colleges could also endanger and affect the future of the studies of the students, and that's the big point. That's the reason why this matter has to be decided upon immediately. But as Nabila was earlier saying, that there has been so many political reactions which have taken place. Even the Advocate General, while mentioning, he's clearly said that students should adhere to uniform. Some wearing hijab, some wearing saffron shawls will not work, which means that it's clear that if hijab is allowed, then saffron shawls will be worn in the classroom. So this is the kind of
and where does it stop then? Because then it opens up Pandora's box, and that is why court will have to be very clear in whatever order that is passed, and we'll of course be tracking that. Nolan, any update coming in from the court? Before I come across to you, remember, constant updates coming in from the Karnataka High Court. Third day of the hijab showdown, and the matter has reached from the schools now to the High Court. And remember, from a single bench to a larger 3-bench right now. Nolan, over to you. What is the update from the court now?
Well, Pooja, just a few minutes ago, we spoke about how Advocate Kamat had asked for an interim relief, or he said that the urgency is this: the students are outside, the college exams are to be held. Finally, the Advocate General has now spoken. It's very interesting what he has said. There are subsequent developments after these petitioners. Some students have started coming wearing saffron shawls. This is what the Advocate General is saying. There was a lot of commotion, and subsequent to it, the state declared that colleges be closed for 3 days, 9th, 10th and 11th. The Advocate General also adds, state has passed an order that all educational institutions shall decide their uniforms pursuant to that colleges have decided. And this is what we were discussing earlier, Pooja, which is known as the CDC, the College Development Committees. They will take a call. The Advocate General also says, we also want to start the institutions. We want the children to come. But he adds, we cannot start with one set of students coming with headscarves and another set coming with saffron shawls. They must go back to status quo ante. This is, he says. He also added, without insisting on particular dress code, they must adhere to the dress code as of today. Subject to what Lordship holds, as a state, we are concerned apart from law and order issues. Now, the Chief Justice then questions him, saying, situation returning to normal after COVID, now colleges closed, this is not a good situation. So Advocate Kamat intervenes. He says, let the headscarf continue. Court can decide later. Meanwhile, he says it's a custom, it's a practice for them to wear a headscarf. It won't cause harm to anyone. It's not an issue of public order. Interim order, let them wear a headscarf of the same color as the uniform. This is what the students have been saying. However, he also added, that is Advocate Kamat, that the Advocate General says that college committee will take decisions. This is totally wrong. So as of now, they are still arguing on this main issue. Advocate Kamat says that please give us an interim order, a relief. Exams are due. April 16th exams start for university exams. Let them wear a headscarf. It won't create any hassle. The Advocate General says once we allow them to do so, there was a law and order issue. There was commotion because if you allow headscarves, then the other students want to wear saffron shawls. We can't allow this. Status quo ante. Basically, everyone follows normal uniform, which is decided by the College Development Committee. So this is the argument.